got the best news today. I heard that Charlie Kirk got shot. Is this the same person that said Palestinians don't exist? Because Allah has a funny way of doing things. He said, poof, be gone. Now you don't exist.
Charlie Kirk death has turned blacks against one or another, make it seem like we are not here to help or protect ourselves from other groups. The air in this country feels heavy right now. The political climate divided, hostile, and sharp-edged has only grown darker in the wake of CK's death. Why are so many black people crying over this man's death? He said some bad things about blacks.
Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
When blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous, there was less break-ins. Why is that? And the data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened?
A certain skin color now gets their own summertime celebration. Oh wow, look how far blacks have come. It has now become a racial complaining day. Remember what BLM stands for: burn, loot, and murder.
Yeah, DEI stands for
one of the biggest.
Didn't earn it, just so we're clear.
Can we also acknowledge, due to the laws under Jim Crow, that black people were significantly hindered from economic advancement?
This is a really important question. The data shows not really. Black Americans are poorer today in 2024 than they were in the 1950s. The disappearance of the black father has been the #1 driver of black poverty in this country. At least agree that black dads not being around is a bad thing.
Anyone's father not being around is a bad thing. Starting in the 1980s and continuing onward, there's been a war on drugs. Is this correct?
I like the war on drugs. Blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. That's not a war on drugs, that's a culture problem. Why are so many blacks committing murders outside of their population? So we've spent $20 trillion on uplifting black communities, $20 trillion, and black Americans are poor. Food stamps, subsidized housing, Medicaid, public schooling, subsidized college. We're talking about $20 trillion that has been spent on the Great Society, and yet black America is poorer, more murderous, more dangerous.
Part of equity towards a black community that thinks Charlie Kirk was a racist. The black community believes Charlie Kirk was racist. But I'm here to tell you that was false. Charlie Kirk did not speak based on opinions, but he spoke on facts and data. Problem within the black community is they hold on to old wounds and they blame their setbacks and struggles based on skin color.
Shut the fuck up.
Free speech, and then there's hate speech.
No.
And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people, so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything, and that's across the aisle.
So to be clear, that's the feds telling you that they want to pass speech laws, which will basically just give them the full power to go after you for wrongthink, okay? And they're doing it in the most disturbing way ever by going after Charlie Kirk's legacy and using his assassination to say, oh, well, now we've got to get hate speech done, which, by the way, who was the person and the leader who said that he was passing laws against speech in America? That was Bibi Netanyahu. Okay, years ago, on record, saying that he was working with the government of America, and any person that criticized Israel would find themselves on the wrong side of the law, okay? You can find that clip of him saying that. And now what's happening? Well, we have an occupied administration, there's no question. Trump is occupied by Zionists, okay? He's completely impotent, he's completely powerless. He cannot say anything that goes against Israel or Bibi Netanyahu. He's letting them do whatever they want. No pushback whatsoever. It's very clear Bibi is in control, and his administration is saying that. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But this was the plan, okay? This was the plan. And we have to stand up to this, guys. We have to fight this tooth and nail. The reason they're doing this, obviously, is because they can't win in the free markets. People are, as Megan said, people that are under 30 are anti-Israel. So that means the future of America is anti-Israel. So what they're going to try to do is to pass speech laws, Bolshevik speech laws. They're going to arrest us for saying that we don't support Israel. Something that Charlie was passionately against, okay? And we can show you next week clips of him hosting the debate about speech and Israel and whether or not everything was anti-Semitism. And he was very clear in his perception that this is going to increase anti-Semitism, trying to pass speech laws or leaving people anti-Semites by criticizing Bibi Netanyahu. It's all out there, and they're lying to you. Am I wrong or am I cynical for believing that, yeah, the feds are obviously lying, and I would say at some level, in a very big way, were involved in the death of Charlie because they wanted this sort of radical way to push through laws. When something chaotic happens, we usually turn to the government. I mean, 9/11, what did we do? We gave them so much power, right? The Patriot Act. You do whatever. Like they see your emotion, they see this global emotion, and they want you to just agree with them. The next step is more power for the government. And this time we're saying no. No, Pam Bondi. No, thank you. Genuinely, why are you in office? How can this?
Yeah, we gave a lot of rights away with the Patriot Act. Okay, we gave a lot of rights away. And let me add also that Obama signed into law that you can snatch anybody off the streets, in America off the streets, and put them in jail. He signed that in law. Okay? So yeah, I do believe that, like I said, this is a second civil war. We're in an economic civil war right now. And what I mean about the economic civil war is to get us all pissed off and divided and mad at each other. So we already got the guns. We already have recessions that pops up. No, thanks for conservatives, because conservatives love a recession, but the oligarchs love a recession, right? But then also that feed his family. And a man cannot feed his family if he don't have a job, or if the economy is not paced with your pay. You know, the inflation goes up and your money is going down. This is an economic civil war, okay? And the oligarchs at the top, or in Israel, they want this to happen. They want this country to fall within, just like they're doing in Gaza and destroying the Palestinians, right? They want to do this over here. They want to do this over here, but they want us to do the heavy work, like fighting and going to war with each other. Okay, this is critical what Candace is saying, and let me tell you, I'm not a Candace Owens fan at all. The second civil war, and Israel have everything to do with what happened to Charlie Kirk. Everything. The bigger picture is they're trying to get us into it and fight amongst each other, so we can have this fucking war that they trying to go, so this country can collapse and they can just buy up everything. But yeah, Israel have a lot to do with this, and I think that Israel, well, I know for a fact Israel is taking his death, Charlie Kirk's death, and instead of pushing us to a war. If free speech goes, that's the death of America right there. You might as well kiss America goodbye when free speech goes. Okay? That number one, free speech. When that goes, that's the death of America.
This administration pretends that they are the same administration that they were in 2016 that were fighting against this. The same administration that was going, oh, well, the George Floyd death, radical Dems, BLM, speech laws. It was wrong when the left did it, and it's wrong now that the right is doing it, which leads me to believe that we are fighting opposite sides of the same.
It's a shame that we are pawns in this undivided states of hypocrisy. They are using this as fuel-twisting grief into grievance, pushing a story that America is under attack from the left and it's us against them. Their values, their way of life, their imagined purity is being eroded. Instead of unity, we get division. And once again, the spotlight of their hostility swings toward Black American, and especially Black women DEI bullshit, trans, brown people, etc.
Any man whose enemy mourns him when he dies, well, he wasn't doing his job. And I don't think it can be said about Charlie Kirk that he didn't do his job, which is to say that he never did anything and he never said anything in his public life that would make me mourn his passing, just as I hope that I will never say or do anything in my public life that would make my enemies grieve for my passing. They should be happy when I die. Enemies are disturbed by each other's presence, not by each other's absence. But let me also be crystal clear about this. It doesn't make me happy either. I neither mourn nor celebrate. Neither of those reactions is appropriate, in my opinion. Whoever pulled that trigger didn't do it for me, and they didn't do it for you. I don't even see them as being on two different sides. They didn't silence Charlie Kirk. They amplified Charlie Kirk. The power structure never cared about that boy. They used him. And he's more useful to them now than he was the day before. He's more useful to them dead than he was alive. Listen, you don't defeat someone like this, someone like a Charlie Kirk, a tool like him, by letting that tool mold you into exactly what they want you to be. That killer didn't deliver justice. If you think they did, he didn't. He delivered to the power structure an even more enhanced weapon. He made a mediocre, but dangerous and polarizing figure, Charlie Kirk, into now an impeachable icon for the very fan base that he most likely despises. And he made criticism of Charlie Kirk's ideas. Now it's disrespect for the dead. This is not resistance. This is a gift. This is a gift to the very security state that he probably thought he was attacking. Now it's stupidity. Or maybe, as the conspiracy theories are already speculating, what actually happened was just a purge of an expendable asset to create a more powerful symbol. Well, they'll use his death. Oh, how they will use it. They will use his death to paint every dissenting voice, every cry for a more just world. They'll paint it with the same bloody brush. They're going to use his death to avoid once again ever having to look in the mirror. They're going to hold Charlie Kirk's body up as a shield against any examination of the society that created him and the society that created his killer, the society that they made and that they rule, and you didn't do anything now but strengthen their hold on that society. They're going to use his corpse as a pulpit to preach from, and you just validated all the lies that they're going to be preaching. You understand me? Because listen, the truth is the Charlie Kirks of the world are not the enemy. The enemy is the society, it's the system, it's the power structure, it's the so-called civilization that creates boys like Charlie Kirk. I call him a boy because that's what he is to me. I'm 54 years old. That's what he is to me, or that's what he was. And also because he presented a childish, simplistic, cartoon portrait of America.
That young man. I forgive him.
While Charlie Kirk was alive, he devoted an awful lot of airtime to demonizing black people, blaming us for everything, and stoking white outrage against us. Then somebody makes him finally lean to the left, and then his MAGA supporters decide to blame it on black people and start sending in kaboom threats to historically black colleges and universities. And then, shockingly, for an assassination that happened in Utah, turns out it looks like it was a white dude named Tyler. Okay? So what you're going to find as you fart around on the interwebs and TikTok and whatnot for the next few days is that for quite some time, black folks have had a particular issue with not only Mr. Charlie, but for some of these progressive influencers who've been doing one of these for him, like the Dean Withers, and like even kind of the Good Trouble, not quite so much as the Dean Withers, but you understand that what you saw happen with HBCUs receiving kaboom threats and a bunch of people with this shade and darker being put on this weird website that's designed to target Charlie's Earth, it had a disproportionate number of us on it, despite the fact that we had nothing to do with this, and most of us don't know who he is and couldn't distinguish him from Ben Shapiro. Okay, so you're going to notice us having a particular one of these reactions to the progressive types that are doing one of these for the recently departed CK, whose words and actions are the reason that his supporters were threatening and executing violence against us for something we had nothing to do with. Stop crying for him, you prick! He spent his career dehumanizing us and encouraging stochastic terrorism against black people. Stop crying! Okay?
Shooting and subsequently his death has shown me that America is in a much more precarious place than I think most of us are realizing. Them making this man a martyr and idolizing him is scary for a myriad of reasons, from the president saying he's awarding him the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
I'm pleased to announce that I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
To the constant news coverage of people mourning, to grown men and women crying.
Just murder Charlie Kirk right here in Utah. I'm so freaking pissed right now. That's just bullshit. I love that guy.
Holding vigils around the country. The president ordering the flags being at half-staff. To the Yankees actually putting up a picture of Charlie Kirk. I think and I fear that we're seeing the embodiment of white nationalism and conservatism.
The chair would ask that all members present in the chamber and those in the gallery please rise for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk.
I think this man represented something far more than most of us are really understanding in this country, and they're going to use this stuff as an agenda, and we can see it with how much they're mourning a man who basically hated everyone, who wasn't a straight white Christian male, but everyone loves him. You have all of these liberal-leaning political pundits lying online telling us we should mourn him. Why should I mourn someone who hated the very fabric of my existence? But comparatively to the response the president and the country gives when school shootings happen, there have been 2 school shootings this month. I didn't see grown men crying. I didn't see the flags half-staff. I didn't see the president give a speech. I didn't see Republicans lose their shit. When Mark and Melissa Hoffman, the Democratic senators from Minnesota, were killed by political violence, I didn't see the president say anything. I didn't see him address the fact that a MAGA supporter, a right-wing male supporter, went and assassinated Vance Bolter, assassinated these people. So why is it that the one man who espouses some of the craziest polarizing views on women, gays, blacks, people of color, non-Christians, why is it that we're treating this man like he actually helped America? He didn't help America, because I'm American and I felt threatened by him, by his very existence. He has been utilizing political violence for almost a decade since he left college, well, dropped out of community college. The responses to this are alarming. It's alarming. Giving the man the presidential Medal of Freedom for what? For what? Why are you crying? Why are you crying, Paul? Why are you crying, Brendan? Go back to your farm. Go back and work your farm that no workers are at because you supported ICE.
My white brothers and sisters, how would you hope your minority friends respond to the celebration of Charlie Kirk's life when he has very publicly said things like this?
Should black people get reparations?
I believe they should.
So I, white man, have to play for black people. Why?
Wow, that's a really selfish thing you just said.
Hold on. Why should I have...
That's a really non-empathetic thing to say.
Wait, why should I have empathy for a race? I have white guilt because I breathe? Why should the white students here have to work harder to pay for black kids? What is that all about?
Not every black person has lineage connected to slaves, and every white person doesn't have lineage connected to slaves.
Yes, that's right. So since every black person doesn't have a lineage connected to slaves, why should we generalize and say reparations for black people?
Because there are people that are in a worse place.
So over 150 years, they didn't have any ability to make better decisions, to save money, and to invest. How about you take responsibility for your own actions instead of blaming the white man?
The murder of Charlie Kirk has plunged America into a dark and dangerous place. And frankly, I don't know how we get out of it. But I do know this. We can't keep lying to ourselves about who we are as a country. Every time a burst of public violence disrupts our illusion of America, we hear the same empty ritual. This is not who we are. Violence has no place in America. Those are lies. This is exactly who we are. America was birthed in violence, founded on the brutality of genocide and slavery, and it continues to be violent today with more gun deaths per capita than any other industrialized society. From the Trail of Tears to Tulsa to the Tree of Life, violence has always been the American way. It has silenced presidents from Lincoln to JFK and prophets from Medgar to Malcolm to MLK. It did not begin with the shots fired at Republicans Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump, or Steve Scalise, nor with the attacks on Democrats Gabby Giffords, Paul Pelosi, or Melissa Hortman. It is part of our collective DNA as a nation, the blood-stained memory in the stolen soil of the land. We are not now and never have been United States. Charlie Kirk's death makes that plain. One side crowns him a martyr, lowers the flag, and pins a posthumous medal on his coffin. The other cannot escape the consequences of the venom he spat at women, black, brown, and queer people. Yet we are scolded for naming his bigotry, as if racism were merely a political difference. He once said that gun deaths were a price worth paying for the Second Amendment. And then one bullet in Utah prompted conservatives to call for war, just as one officer's knee in Minneapolis prompted Kirk to call a dead black man a scumbag. But we are expected to honor a man who dishonored George Floyd, who called Dr. King awful? What hypocrisy to pretend to honor peace while celebrating a man who denounced Dr. King, our greatest apostle of nonviolence. I take no joy in the death of my detractors. I would rather win on the battlefield of ideals than on the battlefield of weapons. But who in this climate can lead us from here? Who can be our Lincoln? While the 16th president called on the better angels of our nature, the 47th appeals to the worst demons of our disposition. And once those demons are unleashed, they cannot be summoned back. In years past, wars gave us fleeting illusions of unity. But America failed to do the slow, painful work that post-Holocaust Germany and post-apartheid South Africa had to do. The work of healing a wounded nation through truth, not lies. This is the truth. America was never great for those it erased from history. The challenge today is not whether we can recreate an imaginary past, but whether we will embrace an honest future and form a more perfect union that never existed. Either we bury the lies that have kept us divided, or the lies will bury us.
truly hate giving these white supremacists any type of airtime, but this guy here is really getting on my nerves, this Charlie Kirk dude, so I have to give him a clap back for this video he posted.
Black people are allowed to talk about black culture in a way that white culture cannot. For example, black people can go up and say that there's a baby mama problem in black America, and white people are not allowed to say that. Oh, I just did, so what do you do, cancel me? Black people are much easier than able to say that black individuals affecting 13% of the American population commit 55% of the murders. If most white people say that at a job, they would get fired for being a racist. I don't care because I say whatever I want.
Oh, bless your little colonizer heart. You really climbed on the internet and opened your pale mouth and decided to rewrite history in real time like the rest of us haven't been wide awake. The audacity to claim black people have more intellectual freedom while simultaneously gaslighting the entire globe into believing your fragility is under attack. Now that's rich. Irony is so thick, and it might as well pay for reparations. But I'm going to reveal the lie and hypocrisy behind the Olympics that you just won the new gold medalist for. You say black people can talk about black issues, but white people can't. Well, sweetheart, when y'all own CNN, Fox, Time Magazine, Hollywood, Disney, and the banks, and every Ivy League endowment, maybe just maybe you can sit out for just one conversation. And while you're pretending to be gagged, your people are in every boardroom, courtroom, war room, media room, pushing propaganda like it's your birthright. If you're so silent, how come the world speaks your language, worships your whiteness, and mimics your mediocrity in music, fashion, and culture? But I'm gonna drop those receipts, the historical holocaust y'all don't want us to talk about. Let's get into these statistics since you love to throw out black crime rates around like white folks aren't the original terrorists. Let's talk about genocide. 100+ million indigenous people murdered globally via colonization. And how about slavery? Over 12 million Africans stolen, tortured, sold as properties, built your banks, White House, legacy wealth. And what about these serial killers? Oh, you don't want to talk about that, because statistically, over 76% of serial killers are in the U.S. are white. And how about school shooters? Yeah, those white boys, it's about 90% of them were school shooters, right? Oh, and let's not forget global extinction. Yeah, nearly every animal now endangered or extinct, white-led colonizers hunted for sport, fashion, and science. Yeah, and what about environmental destruction? You bulldozed the whole rainforests of this world, dumped oil in oceans, and then said climate change like it was a mystery. And let's not forget, you poisoned your own Europeans during the bubonic plague because y'all didn't believe in using soap. So before you speak on crime statistics, check the colonial body count. Yeah, I want to talk about this irony though. You all want to parent us now? You want to talk to us and talk down to us? You say black folks need to get their act together? Sir, y'all are the original baby's daddies, raping our women, selling our families, and now you're confused about single mothers? Your wives were sipping tea while your children suckled on the breast of black nannies. Did you forget? That's the origin of your wet nurse economy. You stole our families and then had the nerve to blame us for the fracture. That's like robbing a man and breaking his legs and then calling him lazy for limping. And don't come for our music, our art, and our soul. You manufactured the whole hedonism and handed the record deals to those willing to sell their souls for the culture you corrupted. Yeah, you say our rappers don't challenge the rock? You own the labels, genius. But I'm gonna connect those dots from the plantation to the Pentagon, baby. See, it wasn't just slavery. It was the war on drugs, the FBI's COINTELPRO, the Tuskegee experiment, redlining, predatory loans, prison labor, Black Wall Street bombings, and forced sterilization. Oh, did you forget that? You all orchestrated the problem, blamed the victim, and then handed out Band-Aids and made that BS, okay? Even your DEI talking points are laughable. White women are the primary beneficiaries of affirmative actions. Did you hear that right? You parade black faces for photo shoots, the poster child, while your HR departments remain whiter than sour cream. We see it. But here's the uncomfortable truth, sweetie. We are the blueprint, not the afterthought. We are not just black. We are the descendants of the tribe of Judah, the royal priesthood you've tried to erase. And you know this, which is why your scientists study our DNA, your historians bury our truth, and your politician silences our speech. You envy our melanin, our rhythm, our brilliance, so you commodify, crucify, and then cosplay it on TikTok. But guess what? You can't colonize the spirit, baby. Here's the inevitable reckoning truth, and the truth don't die, it rises. So here we are, sifting through your smoke screens, unearthing your stolen stories, and refusing to play nice with lies. You're not silenced, so stop it. You're sobered, and that sobering truth is this. You can't cancel us when we are the original signal, the source of the frequency, the soil from which God made humanity. You call us victims, but we are the verdict, and the jury is back. Your father is the father of all lies, but our father, he is the truth that exposes every single one. I need you to kindly exit stage left because your time on the mic is up.